Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to do a scenario in which if Albania, this here country, invades slash annexes slash unites with Kosovo, which is this country right there. So on this map, all the green dots on this map are the country's capitals. All these red dots are the best armies on this map. Excuse me while I fix my mouse cursor, because apparently, there we go. Okay, so, for example, Greece has a stronger army out of all of these Balkan countries. Next is Romania, Serbia, so forth. As they get lighter, as the colors get lighter, the lesser of an army they have. Montenegro, I forgot to add one because it wasn't. I looked up a top countries in the Balkans, armies on the Balkans, and this wasn't even on the list, so I'm guessing it's just less. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create the scenario that Albania decides to possibly invade Kosovo or just annexes it slash unites with it again. I don't know. So the first thing that's probably going to happen is that if they try to invade it, is that Serbia is probably going to join the war on its own side, and it's going to go for its own ideals, which is to take Kosovo also. So this is not going to go well for Kosovo because they have a pretty weak army. So they're going to be crushed by those two giants coming in. With Serbia from the north, of which Serbia would take their capital, and Albania from the south. Now, they will probably end this peacefully for now, because I'm sure none of them want to have to go through a war right at the moment. So we're going to change this border, and we're going to split it between the two, because that's going to be their new border. Now, I'm sure Serbia isn't going to be happy about this, but most Albanians live in, well, they don't mostly live in Kosovo, but there are a lot of I almost said Albanese again. Albanians living in Kosovo, and not many Serbians. But the Serbs have always claimed that Kosovo is their land, so this peace is not going to last very long. But let's change up these borders. Enlarge that. Get rid of this. And now we have a bigger Serbia, and we will also have a greater Albania. Now, this will have the Kosovo armies mixed with Albanians because, as I said, most of Albania's... sorry. A lot of Albanians are in Kosovo, and I'm sure a lot of them are in the army, so they get that extra added bonus of army. So that's what the borders are going to look like now without Kosovo. Now, then things will kind of spiral off from there. Because Serbia and Albania, well, Serbia mostly, is probably not going to be very happy that they had to do that. So probably in like a year later or something, there's going to be a feud. Basically like that. Now, I don't know exactly how this would work, but I'm going to make it so that there's going to be no alliances, because I know NATO would probably get involved in this, which would be not good for either country. And no European Union. So we're just going to go off of what would happen if all these countries just decide to battle it out. So it'd probably start out with just them going at it. Serbia's army is stronger than Albania's, so they're gonna get pretty much wrecked in the first few days of the war. And taking Kosovo's capital in not much time at all. No, not capital. Just that dot. I don't know why I just didn't delete that. But yeah, they're gonna like come storming in. They're gonna already take the rest of Kosovo. And I'm sure that they're gonna ask for peace, because that's all they want. All they probably want is Kosovo. Now I'm sure Albania is not gonna want any of that, because in this place they're kind of the aggressor. But yeah, since Albania is like basically a funnel, the Serbians can push really hard. Now the only thing that the Albanians have over the Serbians is that they have a navy, or somewhat like that. But Albania is going to turn to Greece for help. Now, this may seem unlikely, but because of financial reasons, Greece is Albania's greatest ally in this. So they're probably going to answer to Albania's call for help. Probably. This is a scenario. This may not actually happen, but who knows? There's a lot of islands. I may be highlighting some of the Turkey's islands because I don't remember where they split them. So sorry if I do that. I think I got everything. Okay. So now Serbia's going to have a big problem to deal with, because Greece has the most powerful army in the Balkans. So they're going to start pushing back up into Serbia. First by taking their land back. And they're going to start pushing up. Up, up. Why is that like that? I'm sorry. Technically difficulties. So they're going to push them out of Albania. And they're going to keep going. Probably to get some land mass down here. Now Serbia is the one who's going to need a little bit of help. And Albania is probably going to ask for North Macedonia to join the war as well, because it's probably going to be way easier to get funnel troops up other than through this territory. Or they're at least going to ask North Macedonia to become a neutral country and let them pass some soldiers through it. So to represent that, I'm just going to make it the invasion color, which it's not invaded, just want to point that out. It's just going to be difficult. Okay, I guess it's just gonna be the player. But it is not in the war, it's just letting them transfer troops up into Serbia better. So with this advantage, it'll be easier to send more troops up into Serbia. Now Serbia's army is getting pretty wrecked by the two armies. And even though that they have like the top fourth army in the world, it probably wouldn't stand the might of these three armies combined. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna call on Romania, who never considered Kosovo a real country, and they were helping Serbia to get Kosovo back. So they're probably going to join in, and that'll be very bad for these countries, because Romania is like the second most militarized country in the Balkans. So that what they're going to do is they're going to start pushing back into their territory. And then it'll probably, during the winter months, just be a line about like that. Now, as you can see, things aren't going relatively well for either side. So we're gonna probably have some countries join either side just for their own personal gains. Bulgaria will probably join the blue team just so that I can get some bits of Greece and North Macedonia, who's helping red team, which means North Macedonia is going to be joining the red team to protect itself. And Montenegro is going to probably, this is my opinion, may join the red team also as protection from Serbia. And Croatia is probably going to join for its ideals with Serbia and it wanting to probably take more land from Bosnia-Herzegovina. So that means they're going to join the war also to protect themselves. And Slovenia is probably also going to be attacked by Croatia for more land. And Hungary and Albania always had great relations, so they're just probably going to join. So yeah, that's like the entire Balkans. Well, minus those two. I'm not sure if those are considered Balkans, but those countries are involved too. So we're going to fill all this in real quick. And what we're going to have is, this is going to become really chaotic and very hard to tell. First, we're going to get rid of that, because that's all one country. So what we're going to be having here is red team is probably going to make the first move, because they're pretty stretched out. Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Slovenia and Hungary are probably going to all try pushing into Croatia. Slovenia is probably going to try taking some land there, sending a whole front line. Same with Hungary. We're going to send a whole front line only in Croatia. And Bosnia-Herzegovina is probably going to push for the coast and meet up with the Slovenians and basically cut it. And then also meet up with the Hungarians up here and cut it there also. So, as you can see, Croatia is kind of in a bad spot. Now, my geography skills aren't the best, but I'm pretty sure not many people live along this. I could be totally wrong. This is meant to entertain, not to, like, historically. But based on how their capital is here, I'd say that most of the people live in this area. So based on that information of just that, they may go ahead and take this entire area because nobody uses it. Again, I may be wrong. And basically wipe that part of Croatia out of the war. At this point, Croatia's probably not going to try. It's either that or just basically be encircled until their capital is taken all around, and then it'll basically be done for them. And then they can push on from there and send a front line right into Serbia, the one who more or less caused the war, but also didn't, since it was just a border dispute, so it kind of goes both ways. So yeah, there's going to be a whole raging front line along this. Greece troops, North Macedonian troops, just that, across the entire way. I am not going to put Turkey in this war because that'd be a little too OP for the red team. But yeah, Croatia's like done for, and it surrenders all of its islands. And at this point, these three countries probably wouldn't have that much of a chance because, first of all, Albania and Kosovo is pretty OP because, well, just like this video is based off of Dizpro's What If kind of channel, and he always buffs his main people, so they're kind of pretty powerful just because. But since this is a slightly more historical than that, it's not really, but then again, all of these combinations of these armies would probably be able to take out all of these. Now, Greece wants to be careful around the Turkish border because they haven't really gotten along. Let's just say that. They're probably going to ask Turkey to let them be because they might do stuff, and Turkey will probably go okay because they probably wouldn't want to join this. But yeah, there's probably going to be some form of encircle movement wanting to go on up here. So they're starting a massive spearhead, making sure not to thin out their lines too much. And reinforce it properly. And they're just going to slowly start crushing these giants. The more coastline that they get, the better, which is what the Greece and the Macedonians are probably doing up here. All the other people are just working on this main line. Yeah, so they're probably going to go ahead and take this whole coastline. And it's basically over for the blue team. I'm sure Bulgaria's captured city will make it surrender entirely. And I'm sure Romania and Serbia will follow suit. But based on information, they probably won't give up so easily. They'll keep fighting for a while until this circular motion finally comes into play and they fully cut off Serbia from Romanian axis. And then Romania's border is pretty close to their capital, so they're gonna probably surrender before anything else happens, because they only joined the war because Serbia asked them to, basically. And of course, the last giant will just come crashing down as slowly but surely they will be annihilated and then surrender. So something that this peace treaty will probably look like is going to be pretty crazy, and it may take a lot to explain it. But this is what I think would work out the best. So, based on the Serbia border, the Serbia border will be the most confusing. So we will have a greater Montenegro over here, just slightly more land. Now, Albania is actually fine with not getting that much out of it, I'd say, because they only wanted Kosovo in the first place, but I'm pretty sure they'd take all of this. It's going to be really wonky borders, but sometimes that's fun to do. Croatia is going to be pretty split up. I think the Bosnians are just going to take that and be done with it, while Slovenia is probably going to take just this area, basically, and a little more. And I'm sure Hungary just really joined the war almost for their own ideals, so I'm pretty sure they're just going to not take that much. It's going to be pretty ugly borders, but ugly borders are a thing. Now, I'm pretty sure they take a good amount out of Serbia and Romania. So they're probably going to take that much, I'd say. Yeah, like little greater Hungary. And North Macedonia is probably going to take some of this. Well, Greece is probably just going to push up in a bit. And then North Macedonia is probably just going to give them some of this. Just for border simplicity's sake. And trying to make it look as good as possible, even though it's not going to, and I know it. This is my first video like this, so I'm planning on getting better, guys. You don't have to be this pretty ugly borders, especially Croatia being too square, but I don't care enough to fix it. Out of this, the only country that hasn't lost as much land was Romania. Romania only lost like a little bit of land, which was from Hungary, because no other country touches it who fought in this against them. So thank you all for watching. I'm going to improve on this, I promise you. I may do this kind of video again just to improve it. But I'll see you guys in the next one.